Okay. Well, is there any pressing question from you right now that you would like to ask?
When is food time?
I have a question to you, Dr. Bräutigam. You emphasize that standardization is an important part of working in the cloud. And is it that there are fewer legal issues when we standardize, or is it more that they only have to be solved once when we standardize?
No, we have to solve it with every customer. So because, for us also, every customer is special, clear? And they always keep on saying that we cannot change. But normally we have the top-down approach as well. And we are also not the first one to come in, unfortunately. We are maybe the second one, but not the first one. The first one are, these strategy advisors who really gave the spirit to top management, and top management is completely convinced. And then you have to bring it down to practice, which is very hard. And that's then also our part, because then we always have to look at, if they do the software programming, they keep to the standard. You have standard products. And then normally what happens is that, every individual customer wants to have add-ons, specific developments, customization, and so on and so on. And then we get often, in the contracts, by the way, a regulation, a provision, which we invented, by the way, that keep to the standard. Keep to the standard, to the service provider. We say to the developer, keep to the standard. You are bringing us the standard, and please do a re-engineering of our processes, but keep to the standard. If you don't keep to the standard, we will give you a fine. You have to pay a penalty. This is a very funny discussion then with the provider, because they don't know that. Not so often, But if you insist and if you say to top management, we want to really bring you forward, we understand you. Then they say, we need that clause. And therefore, we have this change in the contracts as well. So that is something that, and if it's done, then it's fine, but it's a lot of work. If you think about all the processes of companies who were there 20 or 30 years, many software, everything. So that is a huge work, and there are many, contractual measures to be taken to safeguard the standardization.
Okay. Thank you. How is it from technical point of view, standardization? Is this customization you're doing, or are you working with standards?
Would be nice if it would work. It doesn't work out. We are, for 20 years now in the market, we are talking about standardization in software development, and it just don't work, because every customer thinks he's special, and in some kinds they are special. Let's say in the terms of BMA, there are certain needs for, let's say, the Smart for Sugar portal, which you can take a look outside on. There are certain needs which are not addressed by standardized solutions. So if you want to go just one step beside of a standardized solution, which are there, they are there, you have to do a lot of work to do this little customization. But it's a value which is detected by your requirements and your requirements engineers. You want to have this value because it differentiates you from the market. So then standardization is not an option.
But the standardization is also important for the future, by the way. If you have this, then next version, and your individual tool is not, growing in the same way, and then you are in this future trap that you have to throw money on that, and you then give it to the market like Allianz. Allianz gave their standalone solution now for free to the market, but the market didn't want it. For free. I don't know how many millions they spent on it.
Okay. Questions from the audience? Please, Tobias.
I can talk now to the two professors, and maybe to you from the technical point. Is there at least one positive aspect in the GDPR, or is it just 100% obstacle for what is going to happen anyway?
Good question. No, of course there are. In Germany, especially, this is a European law, but it's done by Germans.
It's followed by Germans.
But
it's also done by
the big
Germans.
problem. Of course, there is a need. Something. Of course, Yeah, first of all, we mix up data safety and data protection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, data protection, it's just an idea. If I ask you what you meant by that, if you ask my niece what is data protection is, that she has blocked her mom on Instagram, but her grandma can have a look on it. This is individual data protection, yeah? There is no state that has to be there. And we just, the basic idea of, let's say, getting more, that people have a better feeling for what is happening with their data, and that companies should therefore data safety, which is something totally different. This is good, but we went absolutely over the top, far too ahead, and based on a wrong idea of data protection back based in the 1970s. Because, see, for artificial intelligence and all these things, we need lots of data. The question is, the GDPR is pretty much based on the idea not to let data to be taken, just on a first level. How many times did you in the last month click, yes, I agree, blah, blah. Do you feel somehow safe? Yeah, and it's not only about safety, it's about this, yeah, but you have to inform. Hey, in the end, yeah, and I'm more than 10 years in this topic. I talked to politicians for years, and I said, I looked at, it was 5 years in this Council for Young Digital Economy, and 2 of the ministers for economics, they were all, yeah, but somewhere in the future, in the end, the rest of the world will understand how safe that. We're just waiting for the big bang when everybody's understanding and it's feeling the danger of that. I say, hey guys, you can get on a plane, or will you not get on a plane because you can crash down? And we are thinking we are the first step too much. What can go wrong? Yeah. Taking this idea of the picture. By the way, I'm not really sure about that because I talked to the lawyer.
We can discuss this.
Yeah. See the problem? Yeah, this is a problem because we have. It will take years until we have real full clarity on that. And this is so bad. See, I'm taking these pictures for more than 8 years, and in Germany, it's the only country where I'm asked in the last years. Wait a second. When you are taking a picture and posting it now on Facebook, people know that you are not at home and they can break into your flat. And I say, yes, the risk is existing. This could happen. But did it ever happen? No. Could it happen? Yes. Will I change my behavior if it happens? Maybe, but it didn't happen. Plus, all my neighbors who are connected with me know that I'm there, also don't know that I'm not there and looking at it. So we're focusing on what can go wrong, and then we're not doing it, while the Facebook of this world go up front and see in the end what did not work and what works. And therefore, we are not conquering this new land. So I think if the GDPR would be, in the eyes of the customers, a competitive edge, then it would be good, but it's not so yet. And I take every bet that no other country will follow us.
May I add 2 things? First, to this flat thing. Robme.com, yeah? This is a website where you can exactly allocate who is not at home. Very simple and easy to use. Robme.com.
Really?
No, I don't know. But nevertheless. Maybe in the darknet. So, but now here comes the story, because I'm now, as an IT guy, or IT legal guy, I wanted to have a smart home, and then if you can watch the thief on the smartphone live and get the police on the spot, that is great for me. And then I get around, with this Handwerker, the Handwerker problem. Yeah, nobody's doing something now because everybody is, completely too rich, and they are not organized, and they do not, if they say we will come on Monday from 8 to 10 to let's say 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is their time frame, and you have to be there. And then they don't come because they've forgotten. Yeah? That is the issue. And then I tried to get an electrician who does that smart thing. And there we have exactly the same thing, disruption. The normal electrician we had always, where we bought our wash machine, and then he said, oh, keep it simple. And keep it simple means let's do it like we did it 50 years ago.
We always did.
This is keep it simple. Yeah. And then I said, no, we have to do it, and I need it. You cannot live without it because it's my profession. And so I had to change him. And I told him, he's only 30 years old, listen, So 30 years old. You want to go for business 20 years now? You will never do it. Now he is happy because now is such a demand, so even the old solution are working. But if the demand is going down, he will be the first out of the market. I told him that. He just said, come on, I'm happy to lose you. You are too challenging. First thing. Second thing, GDPR. It's true. Germans did it. It was an export from Germany, you know, Volkszählungsurteil and so on, and it then was a re-import, yeah, from European level again back to Germany. It's very old, it's true, and I know all the, you know, Albrecht, who was on the
fundamentalist.
He after that he wanted to study law. After that, yeah, he was in the European Parliament, by the way. So, but now the story is yes. You are right, it's old, and especially if you think about all these things you have to declare there and you have to read, nobody reads it. We already recommended a kind of a traffic light system. You have to say you have only 3 colors. Green is we don't use your data, and red is we use it for everything. We use it. But as I see it, you know, the user will anyway go for red. Because he wants to have the service. And here's the deal, yeah? The service is for free and the data is the money. Yeah? And this is another concept, and we could commercialize that. But the idea is data is so much, you know, human and it's so personalized and so it is Verfassungsrecht, it's constitutional. And therefore we cannot give it away for money. That's impossible. And that's the wrong concept. I'm agreeing with that. Last sentence. It is good to have it on a worldwide scale because we are so beyond on the other side. I am so far away. But if you are far away, you get the others a little bit more of the awareness. Yeah? But you are doing the wrong thing if you are the one that is so far away. That is the problem. So on this high level, European market is very big. I don't know how many million people, 500 or 600 million people. It's a very interesting market, very rich still. Yeah? Still. But, and maybe we will be a museum afterwards,
yes.
You know? Kind of, you know, the Japanese are all coming and looking at this beautiful castle like Ludwig II, you know, that Neuschwanstein and so on. Yeah? And this will be our future profession. But if we dare to take too long time. But this is good that we have it on that level to have the awareness. But we have to get these systems closer. We have to get away from our very strict approach here. Sorry to take so much time.
Oh. We have a very international approach at BMA, and I mean, you will have seen from the audience today that people from many countries, also outside of Europe, are interested in what we are doing. So, Mr. Schmidt, when you designed the system, how did you take into account that this is something that is not designed only for Germany, not only designed for Europe, but for, with the need in mind that we will have to apply the system in many countries all around the world? How did you take that into account?
Yes, so we have in this solution, and in every solution, by the way, which we make for customers, we say bring the data as fast as you can into the cloud, which is, you know, challenging from some perspectives, but that's our philosophy. So as fast as we can means that we spread out all the endpoints that you need for your machine data, which means you just buy something from BMA which is sending data, and we don't want this thing to talk to something which stands in Amsterdam or near to Germany. That makes no sense in the cloud. The cloud concept is go to the point where your customers live. Not only in the BMA concept, but it's just what you do when you go into the cloud. You go nearer to your interesting points, to your data, to your customers, whatever. So that's what we did, which means when you today buy a centrifugal, which is intelligent in terms of it sends data, its data to the cloud, what we did is we bring in a certain endpoint in the near of you, which doesn't mean in your city, but you know, continental near, and which allows us to ensure that data is not coming to one single endpoint and as more customers come in, it will, go down the system, but it's scaling up because we just tearing up the world in terms of BMA customers into several endpoints. And at this position, let me just give you my answer to your question. I think there must be another consideration in this question, GDPR, yes or not, because we are talking already about GDPR. Nobody would say, well, technically, that's a bad idea to go near to your customer. But everybody says, is it legally a good idea to do it? So let's talk legally, and I'm on the opinion to which we compare the situation in the cloud, to what other situation we do the comparison. And if I go to my customers and they tell me, you know what, I'm afraid that the NSA is getting my intellectual property. What do you tell customers about this? And my answer to this question currently is, do you build your own router hardware on your network? Do you do it or not? No, we buy it. And I ask them, okay, from who you buy it? And they tell me Cisco in 80% of the cases. I don't know if you know that there's a rumor, and I think it's more than a rumor, that Cisco network hardware has a special chip on it which communicates to the NSA. Nobody knows if it's true or if it's not true, but it doesn't matter. It's just a scenario. It's something that could be. And one admin says to me, you know what, I checked it. It's not communicating. I say, how did you check it? Well, I looked at the protocols, and I just looked at him and said, that was your check? Really? You know what happens? They can touch this Cisco thing, and they paid something, and there was a box, and it came in, and it had a red and a green light, and the green light, as you know, makes you feel comfortable. It's cool. That brought me to the idea that maybe I should not only sell services, but just do an empty box with two LEDs on it. The one is connected, the other not. The green one, and you can buy it in two different sizes, which is always a good idea, or maybe free. Give him a choice. And just say, you are in the cloud, and here's your box. That's what's happening. We are comparing, like we say in Germany, apples and peas. That's what we do. Because when I look at the data center at my customer who says, I don't go in the cloud because GDPR, and I just look at it, and I visit the Microsoft data center, and I see the level of security they have, there's no comparison. It's not this discussion which is important. It's a discussion, which risk are you willing to go, and which level of investment are you willing to go into securing the data of you and your customers? That's what I think is going on.
Good point. Risk management will be exactly what I meant. Like, we have to distinguish between what is the real risk and how can you calculate it, but you cannot say, I'm not doing it. It could be risky. Yeah.
And what is the upside you're getting when you're taking the risk? Nothing we do is without risk, clearly. But
I don't know that, by the way, because we have a stand in the IT. If we do nothing, we just stay on this level, because we have some IT already. But sorry to interrupt you.
It has to be evaluated against the benefit you get from the possibilities and services that are then possible, only based on that technology. And of course, that's a decision everybody has to take for himself. Is the value of the additional services, is this worth the investment and whatever comes with new technology? But there was a question from the audience. Okay, answered already. Another question from the audience.
Food.
Please, Mr. Magiro.
Yeah, thank you very much. My question is more on, because you guys have been already traveling in several countries, and every time I'm in a digital conference in Germany, we always end up talking about data protection and very little on solutions. No? And one of the things that I see is that also the age of the people participating in conferences, no? That in Germany it takes very long for you to be able to take decisions because you have to have your PhD and 10 years of experience before somebody listens to you. No? So, and I see it as a very big risk for Germany as a country, because this type of knowledge that we had before, now I know by heart all the name of the pesticides because that's what I learned in school, but I don't need that anymore. So I just want to have your, because you have been everywhere or some countries, how you see this danger of people not changing their whole structure, not only having apps, but also who has then the decision power in some companies, and if you have some experience on that. Thank you very much.
I can tell you something about that. Yes, we clearly have a democratic problem, which leads to a cultural and political problem also. Yeah, Germany has, the media in German is 47, the media in Turk is 29. So simply with this fact, what I told you about this feeling, this change around, yeah. So we have the second oldest population in the world, after Japan. Yeah, so that means if in Germany in the decision makers departments, they all look at each other, hey, nee. Plus we have from cultural point of view, we as Europe do not play a role in this platform economy. Yeah, you have seen this list, and if you take the companies who did not do an IPO yet, so talking about what we call the unicorns, so more than 1 billion evaluation. Out of the roundabout 250 companies or 1 billion evaluation, we have in Germany 6 or 250, like 190 or so coming from the US and China. So it means leads us to a political problem. If decisions are made in the European Union, the old guys, talking about this picture with this car, have institutional lobbyism, and we don't have any political forces against it because we are not there. We don't have the digital champions that could do something against it. Plus a population who does not understand this. You were talking about the pension system, you get far more awards when we talk about the future. So we have a combination that makes Germany and Europe, after all, we're building more walls than we should because of this combination of problems. And I see it as an economic historian. I try to, every day, to work with people and persuade them, guys, let's not ask how we can regulate the successful ones. Let's talk about why do these Googles and Facebooks of this world do not develop over here. This would be the number one question. Yeah? And our chancellor says something, well, we invest now, 2018. 3 billion into artificial intelligence. 3 billion. Yeah, I was talking to a lady last night from IBM. She just came back from China. There it's 130 billion. 2018, we're totally behind there because it's not a political topic. They're not feeling it. Okay. Voice waiting, sorry.
No, I have a question, please.
Some hope. Hope is important now, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm also very close, especially to, so to say, to the DAX 30, to the, and I see there that Germany has some values, and we should use them. So and that is where we are strong, and we should rely on them, but we should be quick. Yeah, and I think there are many attempts of digitalization in the B2B sector and the industrial sector, and we have so much knowledge in the industrial sector, and I see there the big chance. I think the war B2C is lost anyway. B2C is lost. I don't know if we find a huge platform here who can really rival these Google's, Apple's.
I can tell you, number 2 is Otto in Germany.
Yeah,
right after
that's true.
Amazon.
That's okay. But on a worldwide scale.
Yeah.
But B2B is our chance. B2B and industry.
Can I add something to that? Actually, what I explained to you, or tried to tell you, is there is no B2B anymore.
What?
There is no B2B anymore if you think the network economy as a holistic concept. I'll tell you what it means. One of my favorite customers is a great German company, one of these hidden champions who are absolutely great, who produce like here electricity, like this, how do you call it here, Lichtschalter. Yeah, switches. So, and they're talking to me, of course, they had a value chain. They hired me as a speaker because they had 1 day a year for their wholesale in electronics, and the next day for these handicrafts people, and German word is Lichtplaner, the guys, handicrafts people, the electricians. So they had 2 events because this is their value chain. They said, end consumers, we don't care. We have the wholesalers, then we have the handicrafts people, and there's the end consumer. The problem is, since I have Alexa at home, I'm used to just say, hey, play this and this song. And I learned pretty fast, hey guys, your your system does not work with Alexa. This whole value chain, like the wholesale handicraft, is no longer existing for me. If I cannot say, switch off the light, you are out. So you are taken from the producer's point of view directly to the end consumer. Yeah? Taken here, sugar industry, we talked about this before. Yeah? I'm consulting companies like Fisherman's Friend, Rittersport, chocolate producer, and so on. If they don't understand what happens, you on the other side will have a problem. It just takes a little time. But in the network economy, where everything is connected and data are the key for that, hey, you have to rethink the value chain. So, and therefore, I think it's a little bit a pain reliever to say, oh, but now B2B. I hear this from Ms. Merkel since years. Hey. I also want to be positive, but I have to learn that. You see, great idea. In Germany, I see this now for years. I say, but it is always like we're sitting on the Titanic, and I tell them, "There's an iceberg." Yeah, but you know what? The band is still playing, and here's champagne in my glass. Yeah, 2 minutes before the iceberg was touched, everybody was happy. Yeah, and I can foresee it, just can't count. But I'll tell you about the 6 or 7 startups. I can tell you the messages. We are today soccer world champion. I mean, until last year. Yeah, but for years, we are not winning any young players, any young tournaments. And this is something you can count. As an historian, I always look in looks, yeah, and therefore I try to take everybody with us, like do everything we can do, that everybody takes his role. Companies have to rethink the role. Don't count on politics. They are totally behind. They are actually putting barriers on. But we have to be positive because there is no other option.
Exactly.
You see what Jeff Bezos said yesterday? When he said, the stock market didn't understand it. He said it as a motivation for his employees. Amazon will crash, and Amazon will be
disappearing.
Will disappear as a motivation. He said, guys, there is no too big to fail. There is nothing. We will be out of the market one day. I just want to work every day on that this day is very much in the future. And in Germany, we're pretty much, but there's something that will save us. No, we should rethink this.
May the IT consulting guy say something to this too? It's not a good idea to interrupt Professor, so I just want to...
I'm also a consultant.
Okay, cool. So to give you a story for this, just a short one, I was at a meeting from, let's say, the big 10 IT consultancies, and they met together, and there was, they wanted to just be honest, which is pretty hard because they were competitors, and after, let's say, half an hour, one guy lost his nerve and just stood up and said, you know what, I don't care, I just say what I do. When I'm in Germany, he said, I don't sell innovation because I can't sell it. We know what I sell, and everybody looked at him and said, no, tell us. And he said, I sell insurances. That's what I do from my selling perspective. So I just look what they are afraid of currently, and whatever it is, I just sell them the solution. This is interesting for you, not to make fun of you, but you all have some connection to consultants, and they just look at you as a customer. And so I just want to say, if you go to a 30, 35-year-old CEO in a company, you don't sell insurance anymore. Even in Germany, he's not interested in hearing it. He's interested in something else. But, we are distinguishing when we see the age. That's what's happening. And we just approach, carefully and just watch. That's a transition which happens and which must happen.
Touchy point, and not fishing for compliments. Did you sell us an insurance or something?
No, I thought you were 35. No, because you came from another perspective. You already came with, we don't talk about whether we do it. We talk about how do we do it. And that's the difference.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I've one question.
From the alone, if I look at the kind of speakers you invited, this is also a compliment because normally I'm the guy that people throw bottles afterwards. Yeah, and here it was a very good combination. You're looking positive. You're trying to you want to conquer this. As Ms. Merkel said, the internet is new land to us. She said that 2013, 5 years ago. how to conquer the new land. This would be the number one question, and I think you have the right attitude to do so. I mean, and also me, that I don't want to say that Germany is a bad location. No, we have wonderful skills, but we have to translate and transform these values into the opportunities of today, and in a positive way.
We talked a little bit, that was just more on the side, that the culture has a lot to do with the transformation, digital transformation. If I may, I think there's one company here in the room that has experience in many different cultures and countries. It's Nordsocker. Could I ask for a comment if you see a difference when you work with colleagues from different countries, from Scandinavia, from Germany, is it something you could comment on?
Yeah, we are not talking just about digitalization, so but anyhow, we can say the culture, and we are producing in 7 European countries, is quite different. Our Nordic countries, so Denmark, Sweden, Lithuania, Finland, they are much more open to new actions, also to these point of things. The culture to invent things is also quite different. In Germany, we like to talk about it a long time, and also our Danish colleagues like that. In Sweden and Finland, that's totally different. Finland, they do what they ever want. You can tell them they always do what they want to do, and they don't care what we decide them to do, just outside of the minutes. No, but it's a little different. But Europe is probably not so different than other parts of the world.
Okay, thank you. Are there more questions from the audience? Yes, go ahead, please.
From my side, you are talking a lot of now experience and changes and all this stuff. The question is more than for the IT guy, I think. I see a lot of so-called proof of concepts running around. What are the challenges you think we have to do to bring it to production?
Mm-hmm. So the proof of concept is a technical thing which we do not to prove the concept, but to generate trust at the customer side that we are able to do it, to be honest. The concepts are working. We have a lot of standards, technical standards there, not programmatic standards. So the real issue is the organization at the customer side, to know the organization and to bring them together. The second issue is to know the processes, because every customer of ours thinks he knows his processes, and when we ask him, and when we ask the famous 5 whys, I don't know if you know it, just ask why, like more than once. And the 5th answer might be the correct one. And when you do this, they detect, well, we thought this was a simple process, and now we know it's pretty complicated, till the point that we don't know. We don't know the answer, and that's the pain point. And then the last thing is, we talked to BMA about this too. The surprising factors which come from the connected world, because they say, well, we can bring you into the cloud and near to your customers, but do you plan the reaction from your customers? Have you planned for this? Because they will react, and you can say, well, let's make a release pipeline that's half a year long, because we can handle this. And I tell the customers, be prepared that the customer is calling you, and he's wishing new features, which you never thought about it. And then the worst thing, what can happen, that you say, well, we think we build it in, and then half a year later, you are happy to have it. That's too late. It's far too late. We are talking about 3 months, 2 months, whatever. And that are the big points which I see. It's not technical.
May I add one sentence? Be prepared that your customer doesn't call you, but he contact you via LinkedIn or Twitter.
Yes, of course.
My students are not calling.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for this discussion. I hope we could bring to you some insight what is going on in digitalization right now in general. We gave a little glimpse of what we are doing, what we're planning to. We can share more with you on the station out there, where we have prepared the dashboard. The same we can show you later this afternoon at the factory for those of you who would come with us and look at the factory. We've prepared lunch for you, so please feel invited. And I'm asking you, please be back at 2 o'clock here, 2 o'clock. And then Mr. Badiero will give a presentation how the digitalization is affecting the cost structure of sugar production around the world. I'm looking forward to that. Enjoy the meal and see you a bit later. Thank you.